funky vibe, yeah. Welcome all. It's a safe spot where the truth unwinds. Share your thoughts, leave your worries behind. Woo! Defense Rest, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love feel free. Join the fam where you're meant to be. Oh, got mysteries, stories that couldn't ride. We dig deep, ain't no secrets to hide. No judgment here, just an open crew. We're all about justice and the honest view. Yeah, Defense Rest, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love feel free. Join the fam where you're meant to be. We got mysteries, stories that feel it right. We dig deep, ain't no secrets to hide. No judgment here, just an open crew. We're all about justice and the honest view. Yeah, Defense Rest, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love feel free. Join the fam where you're meant to be. Oh yeah, got your back. Yeah, we're all tight. Sharing stories in the dead of night. Bring your thoughts, we'll hear them all. Together we rise, together we stand tall. Hey, Defense Rest, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love feel free. Join the fam where you're meant to be.
If the fence rests, let's lay it down. Gonna dig deep, wave that verdict round. The defense rests, time to analyze. With the evidence, we'll unveil the crime. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Defense rests, let's lay it down. Gonna dig deep, wave that verdict round. The defense rests, time to analyze. With the evidence, we'll unveil the crime. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule at the defense rests. Defense rests. Defense rests.
Yay! I hadn't heard that one for ages. Morning. How are we? I hope you're feeling better than I am, because I feel like shite. Not one piece of me, not one itty bitty microscopic cell has cooperated with me today. So I apologize for my tardiness. No, I apologize for my body's tardiness, basically. The rest, this bit wants to do it. The rest of it just refuses. All right. I've been busy digging. Yep. One of my favorite things, as you know. And I have managed. Hello, sweetheart. How are you, darlings? Thank you for joining us. And by us, I mean me and you. Oh, my back. Yeah. It's one of those days. We'll get there. hopefully the extra drugs will kick in shortly. So, yes, deep dive today on Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins. And I've uncovered a few things that I didn't know of. And hopefully you didn't know of, so you're going to learn something as well. Oh, you're more than welcome, sweetheart. I'm here for you. You know it. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Trust me on that. You give me just as much as I give you. That's the truth. All right. So, what do we know so far in this case? Well, firstly, that a sheriff shot a judge on a camera in a courthouse in judge chambers. All right. How do you say it? Letcher County? Is it Letcher County, Tricia? I don't know. Letcher County? It's probably just my accent. Are we accent? Can you say the bloody words? You know, because I always look like a right idiot trying to pronounce them, don't I? Yeah. Letcher. That's where all the Letchers live. That's appropriate, I suppose, isn't it? So, it appears from some deep diving and some analysis that there is systemic corruption within Letcher County, which I'm sure the locals are probably more than aware of, as probably as much as the Norfolk County community is more than aware of, hence the uprising. But there seems to be some truth behind this, the allegations of sex for favours within the courthouse with regards to. All right, how about let me play the video, and that will explain everything because my words ain't working. All right, so we'll start with what I've done is as you know, I like my little presentations because, oh, hang on, let's do this before we start. I love that song. Ready?
Here we go again, my friends. The novelty that never ends. You know that I cannot survive without doing a deep, deep dive.
Correct. I cannot. And today's no exception. Excuse me. All right. So I think that description pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Let's go. So I did a bit of a background lead up to the incident. So I tried to have a look at what the judge's history is. So he's been the Letcher County District Court judge since 2019 until September last year. And he was a former assistant Commonwealth attorney. He mainly handled misdemeanors, domestic violence, traffic and small claims, etc. And sheriff. Okay. He's Sheriff Mickey Stines is 43 from Letcher County, and he was elected to that position in 2018 and re-elected in 22. He has previously served as Mullins's courtroom bailiff, so the two have been longtime colleagues and friends. Press reports note Stines has strong ties to the community and no prior arrests. His defence emphasises his clean record and family support. So what caused this? What led up to it, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. All right. So basically, they have had a history of long-time friends and colleagues. They'd gone out to lunch together that day. There was nothing particularly evident that anyone interviewed or had anything to do with them during the day, the proceedings of the day, or in the lead up, had any idea what would unfold.
It's been nearly 3 months since Judge Kevin Mullins was shot to death in his chambers in Letcher County, Kentucky. And now, recordings that have surfaced that include allegations about sex in the courthouse are giving us some new insight into what may have been going on in Letcher County. The shooting of Judge Mullins shocked anyone who heard about it. You just don't hear about something like this happening. And if you do, the shooter certainly isn't the county sheriff. But Kentucky State Police say that's exactly what happened back on September 19th. Longtime friends Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stines and Judge Kevin Mullins went to lunch together, and within a matter of hours, Stines was recorded on video shooting Mullins. At a preliminary hearing, a detective described what happened leading up to the shooting.
Are you aware of anything so far in your investigation that would tell us there was any issues at lunch between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines?
No.
Okay. But someone on behalf of the KSB has spoken to those witnesses?
Yes, they've all been interviewed.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
It's interesting.
Do you know the context of what the conversation was before that they would need to discuss in chambers?
I do not.
All right, so that was just a snippet of one of the pretrial hearings. So then we go to the incident itself. Oh, I went backwards, sorry. Stupid ass.
Into what may have been
Stupid ass.
Between Judge Mullins and Sheriff Stines?
No.
Okay. But someone on behalf of the KSB has spoken to those witnesses?
Yes, they've all been interviewed.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
Do you know the context of what the conversation was before that they would need to discuss in chambers?
I do not.
All right, I'm just going to let it play.
Video evidence from the trial shows former Letcher County Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines point his gun directly at District Judge Kevin Mullins. Mullins is seen on the ground with his hands up and turned away from Stines before the shots were fired. Stines has been charged with murder in the September 19th shooting of Mullins. The next step in the trial is for a grand jury to consider whether to indict Stines.
Okay, so let's have a look at this timeline. Now, there is a link to a previous civil case that involves a deputy who worked under Stines. His name is Ben Fields. Now, he was convicted of repeatedly raping Sabrina Adkins, who was an inmate under house arrest. Now, Sabrina was done for DUI and had the ankle monitor. And apparently, Ben Fields was in charge of that particular department. And it apparently is it is a position that it can be used to extort women, basically, especially if they can't afford to replace them. And so other payments are given, allegedly. But he was convicted and he did serve time for it. So there is truth to that. So she filed the federal civil suit against him, but she also named Sheriff Stines as part of the responsibility for that because he should have been aware. And the lack of oversight he did have. So, yeah, there's allegations from there that have emerged as sex for favours that do involve possibly other court officials, and unverified claims against the judge himself. And the only reason there was video surveillance in the courtroom and inside the judicial chambers was because of this this lawsuit. Okay, that's the only reason we have the video footage that we do of the shooting. So let's see what led up to that and why is it connected? How? Now, this is a question that I'd like to know the answer to. So when it went to court, Adkins, she told investigators that she had seen a video of Judge Mullins himself. She'd identified him having sex with an inmate in his chambers. Now, he was never charged, and prosecutors say they did not pursue those allegations. Why? 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 Is he above the law? Is he not answerable to the same laws that the rest of us are? Is he better than anyone else? Why? Why was that not investigated? Your guess is as good as mine. Oh, yeah, it's a shit show. It's a shit show, and it's going to get deeper, and it's going to get worse. It ain't going to get any better. The more that comes out, the more, yeah, I believe so. And as far as the phone conversation that led up to the shooting, it appears that, well, the allegations are that Shawn Stines tried to call his daughter on his mobile phone, and she did not answer. And so he then asked for Judge Mullins' phone, and Judge Mullins had his daughter's phone number in his mobile, and he used his mobile to call his daughter, and she answered. So I don't know what the actual connection there is. There is lots of speculation. Who knows? But there's got to be a link. Now, it was 3 days prior to this shooting that Mickey Stines had to do a 5-hour deposition into the Adkins trial. So apparently after that, that's when his mental health began to decline. And he became very anxious and fearful and worried about his family's safety and all sorts of things. So did he have a reason to worry? So basically the entire chain then begins with Deputy Ben Fields, who was under Sheriff Stines and who was convicted of these accusations. So it reveals a pattern where Deputy Fields was engaging in that sex for favours with inmates under house arrest, and Judge Mullins was allegedly involved in the similar scheme with inmates in his chambers. And Sheriff Stines, as the supervising authority, was being held accountable for institutional negligence.
Background of all of this: a federal civil.
This is is it Sandra? Sandra Adkins? I think it's Sandra. Oh, that's bad, Jody. It's not very good. They only refer to her as her surname, which is Sabrina Adkins. Sorry, Sabrina. My bad.
Lawsuit filed by a woman named Sabrina Atkins. She was arrested in 2021 for a drug charge. Atkins is now suing the Letcher County Sheriff's Office over a former deputy named Ben Fields having sex with her while she was on home incarceration. Atkins claimed in her suit that she couldn't afford to pay for the ankle bracelet and was afraid to go back to jail. So Fields, who was supervising her on home incarceration, offered to help her in exchange for sex. Atkins said she and Fields had sex in Judge Mullins' chambers 6 times. Fields eventually was charged criminally and served 6 months in jail. He's supposed to be on probation for 6.5 years. Was the boss, after all. Did that play a role? We really don't know. In 2022, investigators with the Kentucky Attorney General's office interviewed Sabrina Atkins, and she claimed to have seen tapes of Judge Mullins having sex with a woman in his chambers.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, and just him having sex with girls for to be able to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
Yep.
Now you saw the video.
Yeah.
What did?
And they're all coming forward now. There's at least 3 others, at least.
Did you see on the video? I mean, you.
I mean, I've seen Judge Mullins having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know, because I don't know a lot of people from over there.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge in chambers?
Yeah.
And this was Judge who?
Mullins.
But you don't know who the girl was.
All right. So that's the allegations.
I was present when she told that
This is her
to
lawyer.
the Attorney General investigator. The chronology was we filed a lawsuit on behalf of Sabrina and another woman who we claim was sexually extorted for favors. That other woman, by the way, is now deceased. And after that lawsuit got filed, Sabrina sat down with a representative of the Kentucky Attorney General office and gave a 4 or 5 hour interview that was recorded. And in that interview, she said what you just mentioned. It's not directly involved in our civil suit, but I will say that, we filed a sweeping lawsuit against the bailiff, I guess, / ankle bracelet operator. And we allege that the county knew or should have known, specifically Sheriff Stines, about the sexual extortion. And, 2 years later, everything Sabrina said has turned out to be true. How do we know that? After we filed the civil lawsuit, the Attorney General's office moved in, indicted Fields, and significantly, if you go through Fields, he was the bailiff, ankle bracelet operator. He pled guilty to everything we said. And there were some pretty sweeping allegations. And he is a convicted felon, sex offender. And, in terms of Sabrina, I know she's under the spotlight. I'm not objective, I'm her lawyer. But I think she's been pretty courageous. And probably one of the most important things in terms of the criminal justice system. I've only been a criminal defense lawyer in Appalachia for 43 years. What's changed dramatically is the number of women who are in drug court ankle bracelet situations. They are so vulnerable to sexual extortion. We don't think what happened to Sabrina and the other 3 women we know feels extorted. We don't think that's an isolated incident. And we're frankly, the reason I'm talking to you today, we're hoping that the national publicity would be that if you're running an ankle bracelet program, drug court program, which in Appalachia, half the participants are women, how easily extortable these women are for sexual extortion, which is clearly what happened in our case.
Yep. So no wonder his mental state declined after that. And unfortunately, it looks like it's uncovered a systemic case of corruption that ultimately led to the violence that Sheriff Stines, elicited onto the judge. It contributed to his mental breakdown when confronted with the scope of the alleged misconduct during his deposition. So, not good. Not good. Now, it has been. It's as of today. Stines is still being held in custody awaiting trial. No trial date has yet been set. And apparently his lawyers have filed a motion to dismiss the indictment, arguing that grand jury irregularities But at this point, the judge has not ruled on the dismissal motion. So there's that. And I think there's one more, if I remember. Is there one more? No. Okay. So let's share this. Yes, baby. Mummy's here. All right. So, I'm sorry, my washing machine is in the background. I apologise. Yes, come here, so good boy. Yes. Hello. Hello. Oh, you're all wet. Thank you. Thank you. I've found this article in the Mountain Eagle. And it contains a lot of Sabrina's statement. And then I've got another article, I think, that covers Shawn Stines' deposition. But, I mean, that was 5 hours, so it'll be a reduced version. It won't be the full thing. Can I update it? Yes. Hang on. Let me just increase the size of this because you can't see it. Oh, you stupid washing machine. So noisy. Oh. Is that a little bit better? Move you down there. Oh, you two. I want one. Just one's plenty. Thank you. Yeah. Eee, all the way down, actually. Why do we go up there? Look at me move. If I knew I could do that in real life. Jump up here, jump up there. Okay, so a former. Oh, I wonder if I could. Oh, look at that. Woohoo! A former Letcher County deputy sheriff who pleaded guilty to essaying a female prisoner who was on home incarceration will spend 6 months in the Letcher County jail, where he formerly worked as a deputy jailer. Oh, that's going to be fun. You probably want to be in isolation. Okay, well, we read all that before. So he was indicted on 7 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. Criminal charges followed a lawsuit made by 2 women. Okay. Fields works as a deputy jailer before being hired at the sheriff's office. When the crimes occurred, Fields had left his job at the jail to work as a court security officer. Now, that's just abuse of power, unfortunately, like, in the worst possible way. Where was I? So he was a security officer at Letcher County Court and worked for Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, which provides electronic monitoring devices to prisoners who have been placed on house arrest as a condition of their bail. Prisoners are required to pay for that monitoring. The women that sued Fields, Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, and Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stines in his official capacity, claiming Fields used his position to pressure them into having sex with him. And the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, EKCS, and Stines did not sufficiently train and supervise him. Yes, okay, so that was filed and he was found guilty, charged, sentenced, blah, blah. The women claimed that Fields told them he would not make them pay for the monitoring if they would do him a favour. Wonder what that might be. I did have a good GIF somewhere for that, but let's go with this one. Oh dear, I cracked myself up. Fields disabled the devices told the monitoring company that bail condition had been changed so the devices were not required, and then used threats of arrest to force the women to have sex with him. When Letcher Circuit Judge James W. Kraft II asked Fields for GPS coordinates for one of the subjects for a court appearance, Fields said he couldn't locate her and filed an escape charge against her, court records show. Oh, you cheeky fucker. You get caught and then you file an escape charge. You fuck. The Mountain Eagle does not normally identify victims of SA. However, one remaining victim spoke to a reporter at the paper on the record and testified to many of the same things in sworn testimony during sentencing. The other alleged victim died of a drug overdose after the suit was filed. Sabrina Adkins, 47, of Pikeville, who was in jail on drug charges at the time the crimes occurred, said she had completed rehab and hopes to become a DV counsellor. She said she had a career before addiction and wants a normal life again. I was clean for 18 years, she said. I had a career and a family. She said that all changed when her brother, who she raised after their parents died, also died. I started drinking. I just fell into it, she said. There's no excuse. It was something I needed in my body every day. She spent the following 10 years in addiction and says she has now been off illegal drugs for 13 months. She said she was using methamphetamines when she was arrested. And while she is no longer taking illegal drugs, she says that the crimes Fields committed against her have left her unable to function without medicine prescribed for post-traumatic stress disorder. She said she has been in the psychiatric hospital several times since the incidents and continues to take trauma counselling. My nightmares got so bad I had to go on medicine and probably will be for the rest of my life, she said to Fields during the video sentencing. Did you know I tried to self-delete myself twice? Adkins also accuses others of involvement in her situation and that the other women who filed suit against Fields. She alleged harassment by other sheriff deputies and arrests based on false information given by Fields. Stines declined to comment, citing the continuing civil case. However, the criminal court record shows at one point a warrant was issued for Adkins because Judge James W. Kraft II asked Fields to bring her to court, and Fields told the judge he couldn't find her because he had taken off her bracelet and she had taken off her bracelet and escaped. She also alleged that a male relative of Fields, who he introduced to her, also coerced her to have sex with him because he had pull with the court. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently he did. And apparently if he is a deputy under the sheriff, it's his it's part of his job to know what's going on. So if he didn't know what was going on, why the mental health reaction? Why the crisis? He's got to have known. Has to. And I think the judge did too. And perhaps the judge was telling him that the buck stops with him. Who knows? No doubt we'll find out one day, hopefully, once this goes to trial. Because this happened September of last year. So, the court date hopefully should be by the end of the year, I would think. I don't know. I do know that the defence wants the case heard in Letcher County, but apparently it's a Kentucky specific law that allows the state to request a change of venue. So I can't see anything that's been filed as yet, but they do have apparently the right to do that if they think there is going to be a certain amount of bias. Where is it? Adkins said she believes that man is still doing the same thing to other women because she went to court for a hearing on a charge of driving under the influence and saw him sitting in the gallery whispering to another female defendant with his arm around her. He was right there in the courtroom, asking her to go out to dinner with him, she said. I felt physically sick. Ugh. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, they're involved somehow for sure. They all have to be. Yeah. Because you remember the actual full video footage of the incident that the preacher was hanging around the car park and he was watching Stines intently as he walked out the building, up the road, and then came back again whilst the police were there, and then turned himself in. If you have a look at that car park video right at the end, he's standing there watching him. Why would he be watching Stines? Why? Something is amiss. Very amiss. Not a mister, amiss. Fields was accused of having sex with Atkins in his car, in the district judge's office, and in an elevator at the Letcher County Courthouse. The grand jury on September 29th, 2022, charged him with 2 counts of third-degree rape, 2 counts of third-degree sodomy, and 3 counts of tampering with a prisoner's monitoring device. All those charges are felonies. He was also charged. Well, why did he only do 6 months? Also charged with 1 count of second-degree perjury, a misdemeanor related to him allegedly filing a false complaint. The case was prosecuted by Barbara Whaley of the Kentucky Attorney General's Office and was heard by Pike Circuit Judge Eddie Coleman. Court documents show hearings were held in at least 3 counties other than Letcher. I might have to look up that, I think. Where's my to-do list? I need some court documents. I need some real shit. Not that this isn't real shit, but I want some hard, and no pun intended, evidence. So we want, where are we? Pike Circuit Court and Kentucky Attorney General's Office. Okay. And it's Sabrina Adkins. All right. I shall see what I can dig up in some public documents. Okay. Fields pled guilty to third-degree rape, third-degree sodomy, 2 counts of tampering with a prisoner's monitoring device, and second-degree perjury. The 3 charges related to the second woman were dismissed because she's now deceased. Civil case is continuing with her estate as plaintiff along with the Atkins. The court cases do not specify. Oh, she OD'd. I do know that. In return for the guilty plea, the judge followed the recommendation in the plea agreement and sentenced Fields to 5 years each for rape and 2 tampering charges, but that time be probated for 7 years with supervision for 5. Hang on. He only did 6 months. The perjury sentence of 12 months was conditionally discharged for 12 months. Fields will serve 6 months in jail and is required to be registered as a sex offender and complete outpatient sex offender treatment. Protective orders will be in place and effective for 10 years. So, how can you get 5 years for each rape? So he was charged with how many counts? 3, wasn't it? Where is it? I know I read it out. 7 felony counts. Yeah. So that should be 15 years, shouldn't it? 5 years for each one, plus the additionals for tampering. That doesn't add up to me. Fields will serve 6 months in jail. How's that possible? Judge Coleman, acting as special Letcher County Circuit Judge in the case, said consequences of the case reach far beyond its direct victims. Oh, I believe that. I recognise Miss Adkins is a victim, Coleman said. I also believe the criminal justice system is a victim in this case, where people behave this way, as Mr. Fields has behaved. It does create a story people can use when they talk about judges, lawyers, officers, and the court system. Now, let's see. It says a full transcript of his deposition, but hopefully 200 pages. Woo. All right, we'll do a bit of that. Okay, so this was in February of this year. An attorney in the federal lawsuit against former Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines told the plaintiff's lawyer, Bethany Baxter, that Stines has had California encephalitis. Really? Really? And some issues. Oh, poor love when he is under stress. Well, you know, why bother then? No excuse. The remark was made by attorney Jonathan Shaw in a deposition filed in federal court late Friday, but which Stines swore to under oath 3 days before the shooting of Judge Kevin Mullins. The case is not criminal, but instead of looking to recover damages from the former Deputy Ben Fields, East Kentucky Correctional Service and the Letcher County Sheriff's Department for sex crimes committed by Fields while he ran the home incarceration. Hang on, that doesn't read right. Start again, Jody. The case is not criminal, but instead is looking to recover damages from the former Deputy Ben Fields, East Kentucky Correctional Service, and the Letcher County Sheriff's Department for sex crimes committed by Fields while he ran the home incarceration program in Letcher County. Just a few pages into the nearly 200-page deposition, Stine asks his attorney if they could talk when Baxter asks whether he had attended the 20-week academy now required of most peace officers in Kentucky. Shawn then told Baxter about the encephalitis. Just for the record, he, and I don't know how long ago it was, suffers from California encephalitis. So when he is under stress, sometimes it causes some issues, Shaw said. Yeah. So I actually suffer from a condition called anxiety amnesia, believe it or not. So if I'm faced with, because of my adrenal gland not working and I don't get that fight or flight stimulation, no adrenaline surge, my brain goes into scramble, basically, and I can look at something, but I can't comprehend it. I can hear you talking, but I can't act on it. I can't put those words into a process, a thought process, a normal thought process at all. I cannot. And the best example that I can give of that was when I woke up one morning about 3 years ago, and one of my cats was making some horrible sound on the end of the bed. She was curled up, and as soon as I heard it, I knew that it wasn't anything particularly good. She'd had no previous signs of anything, no lead up to it. And so I had my mum staying with me at the time, and she was in the same bed. And so I jumped up and grabbed her and wrapped her up in a blanket, and woke mum up and said, okay, here, we need to get in the car. We need to go to the emergency vet immediately. And I had only just moved to this area, so I had no idea where that was, and I had no idea. By then, my brain's just gone to mush. It's just gone. I'm looking at my mobile phone, and I can't even think of what to put in to search. The best that I could do was ring my daughter in the middle of the night and ask her to send me the GPS instructions on how to get to an emergency vet centre, basically, because brain couldn't do it. Could not function whatsoever. And it's happened to me multiple times. But that doesn't mean I can get away from doing illegal shit. That's the point I was making. All right? It doesn't excuse anything. We all have different medical conditions, medical issues. If he wasn't capable of performing his job because of those issues, he shouldn't have been put in there. Simple as that. And it was an elected position, so he had to put himself up for election. So he can stick his issues up his lecture. When Baxter said he had never heard of that, Shaw said, it's something you get from tick bites, basically. Right. Okay. I'm going to Google this shit. California. Encephalitis. Okay. All right, what does Wikipedia say? California encephalitis virus was discovered in Kern County, California, and causes encephalitis in humans. Encephalitis is an acute inflammation of the brain that can cause minor symptoms, such as headaches, to more severe symptoms, such as seizures. Mosquitoes serve as its carrier, and for this reason, the virus is known as an arbovirus. Didn't they just say it was ticks? Let's see if I've got a more specific one. California encephalitis. Symptoms, diagnosis, treatment. Okay. California encephalitis serogroup viruses are a group of viruses that cause disturbances in the central nervous system. Second most common domestic arbovirus. Yep. Causing inflammation of the brain. It affects healthy children 5 to 10 years, and males are affected more. Most patients can be asymptomatic. What's the microbiology? Most of the viruses in this group are named for the site or region of original isolation, including the California type. California encephalitis virus mostly affects children. What vectors are with mosquitoes, not ticks. What are the symptoms? Multiplication of the virus occurs in the vascular endothelial and reticuloendothelial cells, and spreads through the blood and lymph. Infection is usually asymptomatic, and affected individuals can experience the following symptoms: mild fevers, encephalitis, meningoencephalitis, disturbance of sensorism ranging from confusion to coma. Sensorism. Is that a word? Hello, Brandy. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Are you from Kentucky as well? You can join Miss Teresia, who is also a Kentuckian. And welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We're just going through, apparently, Stines suffers from Californian encephalitis. And I'm just Googling that as we're going through his deposition. Sensorism. I've never heard that before. The steppings of sensorism. I like it. I'm going to use that in my next court filing. Lethargy, incoordination, facial motor abnormalities, and paralysis. The most common focal seizure is laterally. Okay, yeah, no, he didn't have any of those. Neurological signs include hemiparesis, which is one side of the body that it affects, like if you've had a stroke type of thing. They call it hemiplegia in strokes. But this all pretty much relates to children, and I don't understand why he's claiming this and is being caused by tics either. Differential diagnosis, yeah, no. Treatment. Until the diagnosis is established, healthcare should monitor, yes. Seizures are treated in severe cases. No, he doesn't suffer any of that shit. I think that is a load of BS. Sorry. I'm calling it right now. Where is my? There you go. Yep, that just happened. Okay, let's get back to this transcript then. So, where was I? According to non-profit managed care consortium Kaiser Permanente, California encephalitis can be carried by ticks or mosquitoes and primarily affects children. About 10% of persons infected have long-term effects such as seizures, confusion, irritability, anxiety. Oh, I must have it then. I just don't have seizures. Shaw did not say what kind of issues Stines had, but during his deposition, Stines frequently asked for breaks and had to be prompted to answer questions repeatedly. Maybe because he was lying? Often the same question will be repeated multiple times as Stines said he didn't understand what Baxter was asking. Well, I can understand that, yes. Yes, that's pretty much, yeah. I don't believe that. I think it's probably been misdiagnosed. But if he's got post-traumatic stress disorder or anxiety issues, then it's probably anxiety amnesia as well. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. You just can't until the stress goes, until that trigger leaves, and then you just crash basically because you've got nothing to fall back on. Despite rumours of what might have been discussed in the depositions, testimony from Stines, Fields, and plaintiff Sabrina Atkins and evidence presented during the depositions contain nothing to substantiate rumours and speculations about why Stines shot Mullins. Whilst the depositions include details of juvenile sex jokes and photoshopped photos of work-related Facebook messenger groups among Stines and his deputies that would no doubt be so we've got another Proctor issue here, do we? Really? None implicate him or Mullins in any illegal acts. I hope they've got a full forensic download of all of their phones. All of them. Shaw, who is the Kentucky Association of Counties Attorney representing Stines, objected to Baxter's repeated questions about the messages. I think it's intended to annoy, embarrass, or harass this witness. Well, so be it. So fucking be it. If it embarrasses him or annoys him or fucking harasses him because he's done the wrong thing, tough titties. Tough titties. No one would have said this to Proctor, would they? Oh, sorry. He's got issues. He suffers from Californian encephalitis, so he's forgiven. No. Most of the questions dealt with the Sheriff's Department policy manual and why Stines and his deputies violated policies on outside employment. While the policy manual includes a policy to train employees on what constitutes sexual misconduct, at least once a year, Stines acknowledged employees were never trained by the department. Who's responsible for that? Ben Fields testifies. Now, this is the bailiff that worked under Stines, who was convicted for the rape of Sabrina. Fields, the former deputy sheriff and Letcher County, Letcher District Court bailiff, who's central to the case, was deposed on September the 11th, just 5 days prior to Stines giving his testimony. During this deposition, Fields was questioned by 3 attorneys who attended in person and a 4th who participated through video conferences. Stines and Sabrina Atkins, the plaintiff who filed the lawsuit in federal court, also watched the questionings by video. The lawsuit, which had been on hold since Stines shot and killed Judge Mullins on September 19th, was filed by Atkins in late January 2022 after Fields, who was arrested on an escape charge, even though Fields had let her roam free. So, yeah. So what he did, he removed the ankle bracelet from her because she couldn't afford to pay it. And he registered with the monitoring company that was part of her bail conditions that it was okay. So they never raised any issues with her not having the bracelet on. But one of the judges asked him to locate her, and because he couldn't, he would have been exposed for what he was doing, he basically reported her as being escaped and filed an escape alleged escape against her, basically. And that's what he presented to the judge to explain why she didn't have that monitor on. Arsehole. Yeah, so even though he had let her roam free for much of the previous 6 months in return for sexual favours. State officials opened a criminal investigation into her claims against Fields, and he pleaded guilty. Yes, he did plead guilty and was found guilty and was charged. The 212-page transcript of his testimony includes questioning by Baxter of Lexington, who represents Atkins. That's who we heard from before. Baxter named 14 women. 14! In addition to Atkins. And how could you not know? Come on. How can you not know? And if you didn't know, then you are negligent. I'm sorry. Bloody hell. 14 women have now come forward in addition. And asked Fields whether he'd had sexual contact or flirtatious communications with any of them while they were under house arrest. Field answered no on each time. He does not admit in the deposition that he removed the ankle device worn by Atkins and was able to do so by informing Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services, the company providing the home monitoring devices, in return for a fee, that she was no longer under home confinement. Fields admitted to removing an ankle device, which a fellow deputy referred to as a Ben band, from another female prisoner Baxter named during the questioning, but denied having sex with that defendant. Of course he did. Fields told Baxter that when he had sex with Atkins, It occurred inside the Letcher County Courthouse after working hours. He denied that he and Atkins had sex inside the chambers of Judge Mullins, instead saying the acts occurred inside a private bathroom. What's the difference? Next to the judge's secretary. What's the difference? Fields said Mullins did not know he was trading favours for sex, so he's saying the judge didn't know. Did Judge Mullins know that you were back there, Baxter asked Fields. Not that I know of, he answered. Fields said he was able to gain entry to the courthouse and the district courtroom area because he was a court bailiff. He said he obtained a key at the courthouse when he began his job as district court bailiff after Stines, who previously held the job, was elected sheriff. He said that the key belonged to the state administrative office of the courts. Fields said he could not enter the judge's office because it was usually locked. He also acknowledged ownership of a text message he sent to Atkins, directing her to stay outside the courthouse until he could let her know that no one was there but him. Yes. Yes, indeed. You think? I hope he wasn't married with children either. When you say you get there, let me know and I will know what door to come in, said Baxter. So what door did you want her to come in? I'm not for sure, Fields answered. Probably the front doors. Baxter later asked, was there ever anyone else in the courthouse that observed you and Sabrina in there? Not that I know of, he answered. Further questioning of Fields during the deposition indicates his relationship with Atkins ended in mid-January 2022, just a few days before she obtained a lawyer and filed her lawsuit. According to the testimony of Fields, it appears he was forced to distance himself from her when a Jeremiah man filed an emergency protective order against her. Huh? Jeremiah man filed an emergency protective order against her, after which Judge Mullins and Letcher County Circuit Judge James W. Croft II began questioning why Atkins was living at a home in Pike County instead of the Jeremiah address that was listed in court documents. So it sounds like someone else filed that emergency protective order on her behalf against Fields. Asked by Attorney Baxter why he then obtained the arrest warrant charging Atkins with escape, Fields said, I was trying to get Sabrina to come in and put an ankle monitor on after the emergency protective order incident to try to cover everything up, and I couldn't ever get her to come in. I wonder why. Dickhead, ask me. Fields also admitted that he obtained the arrest warrant for Atkins from the Letcher County Attorney's Office while acting as a deputy with the Sheriff's Office instead of using his title as House Arrest Officer with the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services. Fields also denied having any knowledge of an uncle contacting Atkins and urging her to tell her attorneys to back off their case against him and the Sheriff's Office. Oh. Is that not called witness intimidation? Perhaps. Just putting it out there. Were you aware that your uncle Bill Meade reached out to Sabrina after she got out of jail and told her she needed to ask her lawyers to back off this case, Baxter asked. Did you know that he did that? I did not, Fields answers. Did you ask him to do that? No, answered Fields. Fields testified that he learned about the suit filed on behalf of Atkins in late January or early February 22, after Stines told him a reporter had called about it. He said Stines at first suspended him without pay and then terminated his employment on February the 2nd. While testifying in his deposition, Stines said a court bailiff could earn $30,000 or more per year by handling the home incarceration cases for the Eastern Kentucky Correctional Services. 30 grand, that doesn't sound like a huge amount of money. Is that an average wage over there? That would probably equate to what? Maybe 50 odd thousand here, which is $1,000 a week, which is below. I suppose it's probably a base wage, but that he's in a government position. All right, Sabrina. In her deposition taken via Zoom from the Letcher County Jail on April 12th, 2024, she said her relationship with Fields began in the June 21, after she was released from jail following her arrest in April of that year. Adkins, then living at Jeremiah, is that a county? Is Jeremiah a county? Oh, okay. So the 30,000 was supplemental to his usual job as a bailiff, and because he held the position of, what was it, managing the home incarceration cases, that was an additional 30,000 on top. Is that am I getting that one right? Ah, okay. There you go. Yep, sweet. Yeah, and apparently there was an additional bonus. Yeah, I've always over here we have a similar thing with the breath analyzer machines. You know, they actually, once you have a drink driving charge, you have to have what's called the monitor that you blow into to start the vehicle, and the costs are all on you. But you have to then maintain that. So every month you have to have the the files uploaded to someone who's on a registered thing with the city or the government, who can basically extract those and submit them on her behalf. So if you've had any readings that you were denied, like if you blew an alcohol reading into that monitor, that is flagged basically on the system. But it also leads to, people skirting it by having the passenger who's sober blow into it before they can start the car. But because it's a specialized place that you have to go to, and it has to be registered with the government departments, it was really easy to do. It's like a over here, I think it's just a money printing job. All you have to do is plug in these monitors and send off the information on there, and you get paid a shit ton for it, and they have to do it. It is. So you've got a constant customer base, a repetitive customer base, depending on how long they have to have it on for. Yeah, and they get so basically I could go and rent a factory or rent a shop front with one of these assessment tools, do the licensed course and registration, and just print money. So it sounds like it's a similar thing with the ankle monitors over there. We don't normally have that. Well, I haven't seen that a lot over here. Right. All right. So in her deposition, we've read that bit. So is Jeremiah a county in Kentucky? I'm assuming. Adkins and living at Jeremiah had been charged in 3 indictments with first-degree possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamine, third-degree possession of a controlled substance, public intoxication, and 2 charges, each of bail jumping and being a persistent felony offender. Now 48 and mother of one 26-year-old son and divorced since 2010. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know the geography over there. Because I was all the way over here. Very small, is it? Is it as is it as small as Faulkner? Sorry, my bad. Sorry. Her son told the attorneys questioning her that she had never been in trouble with the police until she began drinking alcohol when she became despondent over the death of a family member when she was 40. After being arrested a couple of times for driving under the influence, she was eventually caught in possession of 2 tablets of hydrocodone. Okay. Because that's Oxycontin, I think, isn't it? And she said she eventually began using methamphetamine. Adkins testified that Fields allowed her to move to Pike County a short time after she got out of Letcher County Jail and went to the house of her boyfriend of 2 years at Jeremiah. She said she was told she couldn't stay there because he was in drug treatment. It must have been a part of her bail or bond, or whatever, parole. She said she was then able to stay for a short time at the home of a friend in Isom. I take that's another small community. And that it was there that Fields became flirtatious with her. She said she didn't object to what Fields was doing because she had heard he could be persuaded not to charge the fee for house arrest. Okay, that could be tempting, especially if you don't have any cash. When I was incarcerated at the Letcher jail, I heard some allegations that he had several women sexually. I mean, they gave him sexual favors and wouldn't have to pay for their house arrest. Asked when she would meet with Fields in the courthouse, she said usually it was after 5 p.m. when the courthouse was closed. Atkins still faces charges in connection with an alleged probation violation in Letcher County Circuit Court during a hearing held on the 5th of February. Perry Circuit Judge Alison Wells was appointed special judge to hear the case after Letcher Circuit Judge James W. Kraft II withdrew. Okay. Both cases involving ex-Sheriff Stines still alive. Shall we read some more? Stines admitted he violated policy and set a horrible example. Criminal defense attorney for former Sheriff Mickey Stines has filed an affidavit. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That one? Let's have a look. When was this? June this year. 25th of June this year. So it's not that long ago. A criminal defense attorney for former Sheriff Mickey Stines has filed an affidavit in a civil case that he never said his client lied in a deposition that occurred 3 days before Stines shot and killed District Judge Mullins. Bethany Baxter, a lawyer for Sabrina Atkins, who is suing former Deputy Ben Fields Stines and the Kentucky. Okay, so this is. So the initial one back in 22 was the criminal case. So this is the civil case that Mickey had to testify to because she's going them for, no doubt, pain and suffering and the rest of it. That's what I'm guessing. filed a motion for additional discovery in the lawsuit in May, saying Stines' lawyer in the separate murder case indicated that Stines lied under oath. But the attorney defending the current sheriff filed an answer this week saying that is not true. Sheriff Billy Jones was substituted for Stines because the suit named the sheriff in his official capacity, meaning the lawsuit follows the office holder, not the individual originally named. Really? Stines resigned after his arrest. So does that mean he's not held responsible because he resigned and he's no longer the sheriff? That doesn't sound... I'm going to have to dig deeper. I've got some homework. So, Kentucky laws or legislation. Regarding civil suits of individuals in an official capacity. Okay, I'll report back on my findings. Whoa. This just doesn't sound right. Let me read it again. Sheriff Billy Jones was substituted for Stines because of the suit. So does that mean that Sheriff Billy Jones, who's now filling in for Stines, is responsible for Stines' actions? Really? That's how I read that. Because the suit named the sheriff in his official capacity, meaning that the lawsuit follows the office holder, not the individual originally named. Attached to that response is an affidavit from Jeremy Bartley, one of Stines' defense lawyers in the criminal case. Bartley had publicly tied the criminal case to the civil case. Well, yeah. Though there has been no evidence publicly presented, and therein lies the words of avoidance and accountability. Right there. Because they haven't been publicly presented. So they're either bound under a gag order or they haven't been released to the public in discovery. Doesn't mean, that's not saying they don't exist. That's very lawyer avoidance talk. Yeah. You'd like, no, I'm not taking that job because I can face felony charges. Who would put their hand up for that? Nobody. Where did I get up to? Stines gave a deposition in a civil case in September 24. Security video from shows him. That doesn't. It's not just me, is it? I'll read it word for word as it says. Security video from shows him shoot and kill Mullins in his chambers. So you can go, sorry, it wasn't me. It was my official capacity that did it. It was my alter ego. Sorry, that's just really. Well, he was in plain clothes that day. Maybe he wasn't acting in his official capacity. Oh, excuse me. So, and I just missed a bit. Many have assumed a connection because Fields was convicted of coercing Adkins to have sex with him in exchange for not having to pay for her home incarceration. At least one instance occurred in a restroom in the judge's chambers. The motion by the plaintiff included the following passage. This civil suit had drawn a lot of attention to things that were happening in the courthouse, Bartley said. And in fact, if you look at it, It was because of this lawsuit, the reason that there had been a camera placed in the judge's chambers, which is highly unusual to have such concern that the Administrative Office of Courts puts a security camera in a judge's chambers. Bartley said that Stines was under pressure by his peers not to say too much during the proceedings in the civil lawsuit. I think one of the big things is that my client felt there had been pressure placed upon him not to say too much during the deposition and not to talk about things that happened within the courthouse, particularly in the judge's chambers, he said. Well, duh. They're not going to encourage him. On the day of this shooting, my client had attempted multiple times to contact his wife and daughter, and he firmly believed that they were in danger. Bartley said he believed that they were in danger because of what he knew to have happened within the courthouse. And there was pressure and there were threats made to him to sort of keep him in line, to keep them from saying more than these folks wanted him to say. While the plaintiffs in the civil suit say that this means Stines lied under oath and should be deposed again, Bartley said in the declaration that he did not mean that Stines lied. As criminal defense counsel for Mickey Stines, I have made no public statement meant to convey that my client gave an untruthful response to any questions posed or was in any way untruthful in responding to questions during his deposition. Lawyer talk. Stines is currently being held in Letcher County Detention Center awaiting a psychological examination and awaiting a date for a bond hearing. Well. Attorneys seek a second deposition from Stines. Let's have another look. Why not? Let's dig a little deeper, shall we? All right, so this is done in May of this year. All right, so the two plaintiffs that had filed charges against Fields were Sabrina Atkins and Jennifer Hill. Now, Jennifer Hill, I believe, has since OD'd. Both of whom had been inmates at the Letcher County Jail, filed the suit in 2022, claiming the coercion of Fields making them have sex with them when they were put on home incarceration. And Fields was working a side gig supervising inmates. At least one of the encounters described in the suit allegedly took place in the restroom of District Judge's chambers. Hill has since died, yes, and her estate then has taken her place as the plaintiff. Fields pled guilty to the third-degree rape and third-degree sodomy in a criminal case in Letcher County and spent six months. That's BS. Lawyers representing the woman in the civil suit responded to the motion to dismiss the case by asking that Stines, who has been in Letcher County Jail since September on charges of murdering Judge Mullins, be deposed again. In filing the motion, they quoted a statement made by criminal attorney Jeremy Bartlett on a Fox News broadcast. Bartlett, who has said he plans to pursue an insanity defense in the murder case against Stines, made the comments in a story titled "Motive Revealed in Kentucky Sheriff's Alleged Killing of Judge as Body Language Expert Analyzes New Video." Okay. I think we need to have a look at that. Let's see what that brings up. Paste. Okay. Motive revealed in Kentucky Sheriff's alleged killing. Now, did they say that it was... Wait, let's go back. A story titled Fox News broadcast. Okay. Let's go to the Fox News one. There we go. First on Fox. Fox News Digital has obtained surveillance footage showing the moments leading up to former Letcher County, Kentucky Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines' suspected murder. Suspected murder? The pair, who had known each other for years before the unforeseen incident, had spoken in the judge's chambers and gone out to lunch together that day. The surveillance footage taken from Mullins' chambers, a group of people, some of whom had been at lunch with Stines and Mullins earlier in the day at the street-side grill and bar within walking distance, could be seen cordially chatting with the judge for more than 12 minutes. Okay, that's the picture of Mickey Stines with his own mobile phone in his right hand and the judge is in his left. And he's trying to contact his daughter. Kentucky Sheriff seen in footage shooting at judge in shocking preliminary hearing. Nothing like a bit of clickbait. Therefore, Stines entered Mullins' chambers and cleared the room to speak with the judge. When I'm seeing the sheriff, it's interesting to watch him because he was ready to go the minute he walked in. Consultant, author, and body language expert Susan Constantine told Fox News Digital. He was contemplating it. He was shuffling his feet and had his hands in his pockets. I might have to go back and watch that video. Meanwhile, she noted that Mullins looked despondent and almost unaware of Stines' presence. In the next 7 minutes, Stines and Mullins talked privately before Stines stood up and seemingly locked the door of the chambers. He then sits down and wants to have a conversation with the judge. Judge is very nonchalant, very carefree, doesn't seem to be rattled by a lot, seems to be very, what I would say is just unremarkable. Yeah, okay. And then we've got the sheriff leans in and she said that he obviously got something on his mind because he's in an action stance. I think the fact that Mullins is shrugging it off, I think that created more angst towards the judge because he wasn't taking it seriously. Whatever was being spoken about, and he's kind of playing it off like it wasn't a big deal, she said. And the more he played it out, this is not a big deal, the more angry Stines became. Mullins then handed his phone over to Stines, a rumoured but never before seen event that has led to a great deal of speculation among true crime and internet sleuths alike. After looking through the judge's phone, Stines places a call that went unanswered before he tossed the phone back onto the judge's desk. No, he spoke on the second call. He then allegedly stood up and unholstered his pistol, yes he did, and moved menacingly towards Mullins before opening fire. New video. Pointing a gun at judge before alleged. Well, you kind of have to point the gun at someone before you're going to shoot them. Just saying. Constantine said the judge didn't appear to believe he was in imminent danger until seconds before the shooting. The judge is kind of going, "What are you doing? Put the gun down." She said it just kind of using his hand gestures, kind of fleeing him out, like, "What are you doing? This doesn't make any sense." And then all of a sudden there's something that the sheriff must have said, Constantine said, and all of a sudden he goes into protection. Both palms are up. "What are you doing? Stop. Don't do this." Now he's in self-protection mode, and that's when Stines got him, when he was the weakest, because both hands are up, and that's when he went in for the shot. This Constantine must be a behavioural analyst. She doesn't believe the crime was committed in the heat of the moment, as Stines' attorneys are prepared to argue. I think that was already pre-planned. And I tend to agree with that because the people that were interviewed, the witnesses that were there, basically said that he was in civvies, not his uniform, which is unusual for him, and 2, that he was carrying, and that was not a normal thing for him either, especially inside the courthouse. All right. On Monday's phone interview with Fox News Digital, Stines' attorney Jerry Bartlett and his wife and co-counsel Kerry Bartley put to bed online rumours about the phone exchange and explained the defence's version of events in the days leading up to the shooting. Stines had attempted multiple times to contact his daughter throughout the day, and including the time while he was in the chambers, and he tried to contact her from the judge's phone, Jerry Bartlett said. He also noted that Stines received a call from his aunt while he was in the judge's chambers. Bartley said that the phone exchange had nothing to do with any relationship between the judge and his daughter, as he had speculated. Rather, he said Stines was experiencing increased paranoia, that his family was in danger in the period leading up to the shooting due to a civil lawsuit in which he was named and deposed for. Specifically, in the approximate 2-week period prior to the incident in the judge's chambers, pretty much all the witnesses the investigators talked about to support what those close to Mickey had said as well, Bartley said. And that's simply this. Mickey had become extremely paranoid. He'd become sleepless, basically wasn't sleeping. You really had to clarify that? He slept little. Okay. Again, you really have to clarify that? Sleeplessness pretty much covers it. He had sort of become withdrawn, and, it was of such a concern that his co-workers urged him to go to the doctor and ultimately did the day prior to the shooting. Don't believe it did much. According to Bartley, a major contributing factor to the judge's emotional state was the deposition in the civil suit. Okay, fair enough. It's like, fuck, I'm accountable. That shit just slapped him in the face. So the lawsuit filed by Sabrina Atkins in January 2024 came on the heels of Fields' sentencing after he pleaded guilty. Okay, so that... So basically him pleading guilty has landed the sheriff in the shit. Lawsuit says that all the sexual assaults occurred in Mullins' chambers and that other women had been subjected to the same predatory treatment. Stines' big concern all centers around the civil suit. From Ben Fields, who coerced those exchanges, and named Stines as part of the responsibility. Where is it? A lot of this is repetitive, sorry. And in fact, if you look at it, it was because of this lawsuit, the reason that there had been a camera placed in the judge's chambers. Yeah, we put that. Wow. That's him now. I'm just going to screen grab that. That's a good picture. Okay. On the day the shooting happened, my client had attempted multiple times to contact his wife and daughter, and he firmly believed they were in danger because of what he knew and what had been going on. So there you go. He did know. He knew. And the threats were made to him to keep him in line, basically. Okay. According to Bartley, Mullins and Stines were not particularly good friends. Really? Contrary to popular belief, though they'd known each other for quite a long time. I don't think that you would find on any given weekend the judge and my client hanging out socially. Well, that doesn't mean they're not friends. He said, I think their relationship was centered pretty much solely on their profession. Stines has been charged with 1 count of first-degree murder of a public official. Bartley has said the alleged killing, allegedly, occurred in the heat of the moment and was not premeditated, and is planning an insanity defense. All right. Methinks that's probably caught us up. Hopefully. Hey, Texas Granny, g'day. How you doing? Oh, you've come in right at the tail end. That's not my bed. It's not my best angle either. But welcome. You're welcome to go back and have a look, because there is some new stuff that I've been able to dig up. And I think it's going to continue to surface until we have trial, basically. Yeah, still have no idea what the motive is, apart from, we know sort of the connection and the reason for Mickey's mental health crisis and behavior, but it still doesn't answer why he felt the need to go to that extreme length of killing the judge. That, my friends, is what we need to answer. So that's my job for the next couple of days, I reckon. Yes. So if you guys find any information that you think might be useful or hasn't been told so far, I will put wrong one. I'll put a link to our Discord channel, and in there I have created a link, like what do you call it? A thread. Oh, hang on. Where did I put it? I know I saved it somewhere. Oh no, I did the link for sorry, my mistake. I did the link for Oakley Snow for yesterday. So from yesterday's live stream on Oakley Snow, I have created a thread that has all of the documents linked to it, so you can have a read for yourselves should you want to. And I've done the same for the Bella Fontanelle trial. I'm going to try and attach documents that relate to each case via a thread, and that will then also be a backup for referral if anything happens to anything on YouTube, whether it goes down or whatever. So link. Let's post that in chat. Copy. We also do a lot of fun stuff over there too. In fact, I might even do Thursday night. Tan is coming over for a girly sleepover pajama party. So maybe we could do a movie night. So basically, yeah, that all happens on Discord. There's heaps of stuff to do on there. I'm slowly trying to introduce some games and some interactive stuff on there. Get in there and check it out, because there's a lot of information. And it's got every live stream for the last 9 months, I think. Thanks to As the Gravel Drops, who are amazing. Yes, so am I, darling. So am I. It's supposed to be really user-friendly and easy to use. That's not something that I have actually experienced. But the more I learn, the more I see a potential for it. It's basically like a community with relevant links to what that community represents. So if you think of the Discord, my Discord server, as the umbrella or balloon for this channel, it will have additional information that you can refer to for, like, if you want to look it up. So if you haven't seen, say, yesterday's presentation on the Oakley Snow case, and you're like, oh crap, I really want to watch that, that's in there under the live streams, and you can click on her case. That will bring you back to the YouTube. Hang on, I'll just approve that for you, Texas Granny. Oops, no, I pressed the wrong thing. Approved. Oh, I've lost you. Pending. See, I'm still learning. I'm not approved. There we go. There it is. Done. Woohoo! You're in. Hello, Balola's mum. You're coming at the tail end too. That's fine, no problem. All good. Thank you very much for joining us. And have fun in there. All right. Let's wave. Oh, waving at Texas Granny to welcome her. All these things one must do. Where is it? Welcome. Where's my gift? Welcome to the fam. There you go. Yeah, so there is documents, as I said, to the last couple of live streams, and I'm going to try and continue to do that just for future reference. If you go, oh, I can't remember where that was or whatever, now you can find it. And I've also put in the other creators tab. Can I share this page? Surely I can. Share screen. Window. Yes, I can. Look at that. So I bring that up. This is the Discord. This is my Discord channel. So up here is the defense rest, and you've got all the list of topics basically that we have. So most people, we all sort of interact in the main chat. But there's this other creators here which other content creators can post their upcoming live streams or any information or whatever. But I've posted this link here because it is another creator. And he's done a bit of a deep dive into Mickey Stines as well with Hillbilly Crime. So their link is there if you would like to watch that. I did start to, and I think it probably has some decent information in there. So that's in under other creators. And And I'll create, I think, a separate tab just for this case and include any of the findings and documents and background stuff in there for you to review at your leisure, should you decide to do so. Okay. I think that probably just about covers it all. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that that's pretty much all that's out there at this point. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on it. And if there is any further pre-conference hearings or what have you, I'll cover those. So tomorrow will be a day off to do some research for the up and coming next trial that we're going to present. Haven't decided what that is yet. So my plan is to, at some stage today, put together a poll for you guys to have a bit of input on it, because I think there is the new trial that started yesterday, I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, the dismembered wife. Is that the one? Yes. I think there's two. The other thing too, I was told that, because I didn't follow it, but apparently the both parents were acquitted on the trial with the strangling of the daughter. Apparently. Which is Udahef here? Did I miss him? Ah, I did miss him. Sorry. How are you, darling? How did you go with your application? Fill us all in on Discord, darling. All right. Anywho, I will put together a few options and post them in as many places as I can. So keep your eye out. Click that notification bell so you know when I've gone live, or if I've uploaded anything of interest. Hit that like and subscribe button. That'd be absolutely shit hot. Every comment, every interaction, every click of a button on a stream adds to YouTube's analysis of how popular that topic is. And so they don't focus on my content, they focus on what reaction from the audience you get, and that's what they use in their algorithm. Yeah. All right. You too. What is it? 3 a.m. Yeah. It's actually, I slept most of the day. I must have needed it. I woke up at 10 o'clock because I had someone coming to take blood, and I think she drained about 2 liters from me at least. And I fell back to sleep until 4:30 this afternoon. So Yes, I have rested Tricia. So this is what probably mid-afternoon dinner time for me now. Which explains why I'm starting to get hungry. All right. That's it. I'm done. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't be good at it. And I'll see you Thursday, hopefully, with we can do it with Tan on screen in our pajamas. I absolutely shall, my love. I shall. I am trying. I am doing the absolute best that I could possibly do. But yes, I'm looking forward to having Tan come over and do some girly shit. In fact, we probably I might even sit here with face masks and stuff on, just because we can. All right. Love yous all. Without further ado, hasta la vista, bitches. Bye.
Hey there, thanks for stopping in. We hope you will join us again. We all look forward to next time. We get to talk about true crime. Clues. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Our true crime family is great. All types of topics we debate. Smash that like and ring that bell. Get subscribed, you might as well.